Hi. And before I begin, launch off into a short discussion on all three different ideas I have. I would like to just show you some display items. I did not go. I got the feedback, from I heard from the doctor, both the doctors, and I thought cellular therapy and enzymatic pinprick injections could work for the small child. And yeah, this is the teddy bear I had made for him. So I keep this. Well, I hope he's going to get better. He had a bad fall. And, so I never went. I ended up eating half the zebra cookie and half the polar bear and both the stars. So that's a lot of sugar. I'm a little high on sugar. And this is a new thing. I had planned this for the other lady doctor, and who said keep it and enjoy memories of your son. And this is something special for what's tomorrow. I painted this and oh, I thought I'd keep it. Although I don't know, resurrection of Christ, we were taught, and because this is designer tissue. All right, we'll just see if I can get this out. Sorry, and wrap this up. It was also meant to go, right? So it's not meant to go. So it's all leave it like that. So, yeah, so here goes. And this is happy Easter for tomorrow, Easter Friday. Yeah. So that being shown, I'm going to first begin my first thought, and the camera needs to be a little. You need to kind of possibly. I have had requested, and they gave it to me. It's been a year now, not a year, a little more than a year, I think. Wide angle camera lens with a considerable depth, but sometimes I think it's a little. If I come too close, but that may be nice. All the time close ups. Okay, so here I'm gonna play the song. Piano. YouTube on YouTube, and you all know the song. It is let's play a little riff. Yeah. All right, moves on to our thing, and the chorus didn't come again. All right, this is not stopping. We'll correct. I'm on here. All right. Sorry. All right. So losing my religion, it struck me. This was during my car days. My son was growing up, and it breaks my heart. Even now, the song, it's so beautiful, so beautiful, so musical, so all the things blended right together. It just breaks my heart. But for a particular reason, I realized today when I was listening to the more in the morning on my, transistor radio in the kitchen, and again tears, and I losing my religion. This is a little different. And the my thought from what the group has sung, the lead singer has sung, and I had tears had just flown down my cheeks when I was working out in the gym. This was back when my son was a child. We just moved back from Ottawa, and it was a little while. I was having all these sort of transition from being a feminist engineer mom who would drive madly and that sort of thing, uh, and coming down to sort of being I would still drive, pick up my son, go shopping on shopping trips and things like that. But the transition was kind of hard on me, was being hard on me, and from to a full time sort of mom who would do her thing, shopping trips, and quite the Sophie Kinsella shopaholic in some ways, because I now I realize it. You see, I was losing my real religion, feminist ideology, they having been an engineer, and it was hard for me, and I just cried and cried. That was the beginnings of it. But my son's all grown up, working young man. It's been a year, 1 year anniversary celebrated, more than a year now. The January first week was his first year anniversary now. It's he's in May, and but as an engineer, I had to remain true to my calling, sort of my degrees, because I studied, and I gave it up to becoming a ditzy Mrs. Gayatri B. Sitaram, as opposed to Miss Gayatri B. Sitaram, which I was until then. Well, I have my maiden name. My husband's name is different, as is my son's name, but my son has my middle name. So yeah, but I just want that was one. So you might have your own, if you want to write, your own losing your religion in a way, and picking up but cooking was always there. That's my mother's religion in me. My mother really struck true to her religion, uh, cooking, and but her man in her life was kind of short-lived. But there were other nice ways to being, but that's another discussion, another time. Then part two is, I'm going to read out from here. Part two this morning, it struck me that related to angles relating to Bill C-36. You all know Bill C-36 in Canada. The Stephen Harper cancelled it. I mean, made escort services and possibly, in the same breath, prostitution illegal. So nothing of the sort. And it struck me that, in 2014, and I could really not afford a male escort again, of course, and it would be wrong. It was wrong to do that sort of thing. But then, my husband was, had his distant, difficult demeanor at times, and approaching him for the right sexual a favor was a little difficult. Besides a child at home, people. I mean, no locked doors, but that's good, because children could lock themselves up. This is always the mother coming to the forefront in me. But there are other sides. Yeah. Catch me when I'm seducing my man, and oh, you betcha, I am the seductress. All right. So what have I said? Scarlet Road in Toronto could be a leading name dating back to times where you know women of sketchy character would pick up men, and maybe going back to ancient times, there were these brothels and that sort of thing. State of Nevada, brothels are legal. All right, and otherwise, most of the U.S. also, I think, has banned escort services and that sort of thing. And when we were in Phoenix, Van Buren Street was pointed out to me as being the red light district. All right, and coincidentally, Martin Van Buren was a president of was one of the presidents who came towards the end of the Civil War and the beginning of the I guess towards the end of the civil, or towards beginning of, towards, yeah, Lincoln was there, right? Lincoln, it was Abraham Lincoln, beginning of the Civil War. It was all because of him that the Civil War happened in America. So towards the end of the Civil War, Martin Van Buren, as the internet said, and he went on to stay, afterwards, when all the segregation, etc., laws came into effect in the South. All right, so he may have been responsible for legalizing prostitution, but I found nothing on the internet. It's a nice exercise because it's exam time, at tail end of the exam time, to look it up and in a library. And he could have legalized prostitution in the state of Arizona, and hence the Van Buren Street is a red light area. And in the same breath, I wanted to say maybe he owed it to his Dutch nationality. The Van's the link, because the Netherlands had a red light district which they abolished just a couple of years back, or a year ago, I think, just a year ago, which was like the busiest and that sort of thing. Well, you would think Dutchmen are so stiff upper lip and everything. The younger man I worked with, Eric, was he had the middle name Van. He was very much the engineer, quite attentive to me when we went out, but otherwise snooty and. I'm kidding. He was a younger guy, The woes of a young mother in her, not too young, but young mother in her early 30s, of working in a 20s crowd. Oh man, I had begun to think that I was, not good, not good. It was better in the Igen Corporation. They were closer to my age, although they were also younger. But I think Murray was a little, but she had no child, and Ginny was a little. They were all there. I shouldn't give out names. It's not right. But I would like to think that they're my friends, and they. And then Jen McDonald, she was the head. She was very good. She was she wasn't. She was the head in a sense. With an undergraduate degree, she had worked for many years, so she was equal to me and my friend colleague we were hired together. She was younger. Catherine was younger with a PhD and everything. A whole world out there for her. Yeah, but I had my child too, so that was I was also older. So we are kind of, yeah. Anyways, I spoke to her some time back. I may have mentioned it here, and she had worked for the Stephen Harper government for 10 years. And as I gathered from some similar source, her husband, highly qualified in the social sciences, had fallen truly for a pair of beautiful blue eyes with golden hair, and had with a PhD it may be funny now, with a PhD in chemistry and work experience in a biotechnology company. But it's hard for him to get back in. But those 10 years were good. The Stephen Harper government were good. So maybe if teaching, that sort of thing, he may be pursuing, but I have no idea. Because I have to call up, but maybe the landline's not there. But I'll call up once something has happened in my life. Anyways, coming back to here, Van Buren. So maybe he was of Dutch nationality, President Van Buren, and he thought that legalizing prostitution was good. It could, it could keep a harmony in a home and that sort of thing. I wouldn't know. I mean, sometimes busy lives and etc. And sometimes attraction dies out and between couples, but they are still in love. So this could be just physical. I should have taken up law, right? They could still be love, right? And so that's the point. And what else did I have to say for this? For this bit, what have I written here? All right, have I written something? I wanted to read out from Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter. So I was reminded of the story again. The movie was a Demi Moore starrer, and mm, the lady has had the heroine has an elderly husband, quite like Anna Karenina, but Anna Karenina has a son from her husband and chooses adultery. Here, she chooses adultery. Heather Prynne, with a now Y and a double N, and she has a child through her lover. And I tried getting back to the portion where the lover and she have some hot dialogue, but it took too long. I had another idea to research. So here goes. I picked up a couple of metaphors, and first the metaphors, and then a couple of observations, and then on we go to my third idea. And what was it? It was here. All right, all right. What did I want to say? All right. Whose utopia of human virtue and happiness um, was the new colony. All right, utopia of human virtue and happiness. Well, a little bit of a far cry from human virtue and happiness in the U.S. now, but that was how they envisioned the colony, the Puritans, and I guess, yeah, according to this book anyway, the a portion of the virgin soil, which is on as a cemetery. They made it as a cemetery, so nothing's being planted on this virgin soil. Of course, the indigenous people did some planting, I guess, but these people got more plants and on this one, and they chose us to. But a cemetery is also important, I guess. So I would like to visit the one here in near Royal York, Blue Run Royal York, and see if there are soldiers buried in there, so some that could be a essay or a story. And then the other observation I wanted to make was the description of the heroine. The young woman was tall, with a figure of perfect elegance on a large scale. She had dark and abundant hair, so glossy that they threw off the sunshine with a gleam. Oh my god. And a face which, besides being beautiful from regularity of feature and richness of complexion, had the impressiveness belonging to a marked brow and deep black eyes. She was ladylike, too, after the manner of the feminine gentility of those days, characterized by a certain state and dignity rather than by the delicate evanescence and indescribable grace which is now recognized as the indication, as its indication, recognize. All right, so that was what, and more. All right, I'm coming back here. I just had one more observation, which was, of course, the political guillotine. The New York Times came out with it. Scarlet plumage, may this be? This was it. This was my observation. All right, art thou a Christian child? All right. Art thou a Christian child? So, as in Hinduism, when we were growing up, it was hip to say, I'll have an affair and I will have an illegitimate child and shock the world, that sort of thing. Although we focus on engineering, all right? A lot on the chemical engineering. Hit the books, all right? Exam time. But, you know, the whole thing here, dating back to then, is that to the child. She has a child, right? The child's name is Pearl. And so the good old Mr. Wilson is asking her that. And he's talking to the child. And so it's not so bad. I thought this was worse. All right, so that's the description. And then I just had to say one more thing. All right. The governor asks Heather, the mother of the small child, illegitimate child, Pearl, sayest thou so? Cried the governor. Nay, we might have judged that such a child's mother must needs be a scarlet woman, and a worthy type of her of Babylon. But she comes at a good time, and we look into this matter forthwith. So so pardon my understanding if it's not right, because again I plead the fact that I'm a chemical engineer with two dual master's degrees and work experience in the same and considerable research in the same. But are they is the man presuming that women of Jewish origin were all scarlet women? That's kind of a blanketing statement, but I don't know. Poor women, no, I mustn't laugh about these things, because the Holocaust was a sad, sad tragedy. But if they chose to, like, there was Williams, s- uh, Meryl Streep, Kevin Kline, William Safire. William Safire is the Washington Post columnist. William Saffron, some of the oh my God, the Meryl Streep stars. Like, quickly, I have to get this right. This is a point I'm trying to make. Meryl Streep movies. It's a famous movie. If you don't get it, sometimes, as I've been told, it's oh, they've taken it off, I think. All right. The Suffragist. Famous movie. Beautiful movie. Such stunning acting from all of them. Oh. Holocaust. Set in the Holocaust. Bridges of Madison County. That's a romance. Oh. Okay, we will see. Holocaust. I beg your pardon. I'll ask them if YouTube can edit. Sophie's Choice. Sophie's Choice. She has short hair, so she's a Polish Jewish. She almost seduces the Nazi man there, and the whoever is the commanding officer of the Holocaust ghetto. Ghetto is where the Jews were picked up from, but Holocaust concentration camp. So that was what it was. All right. So so they were all scarlet women, at least for the Nazis, maybe, because sorry, I mustn't. All right, it was a very sad time of in the historical timeline. And one more point, I have written down a couple of them. Husband in from Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter. Husband, feed the hungry dream of knowledge. So he liked to do that, and then he fell in love. Providence is a lovely and immortal flower. So Nathaniel Hawthorne has said, and the thought just came to me: a lovely and immortal flower. Tom Petty, he sang, "The future was wide open." So that's sort of modern way of putting the same thing, and and again the same point I want to make as a younger feminist woman. So art thou a Christian child? I already made that point. All right, so that was it. And lastly, you're going to love this. I have three excerpts from books by actors: Matthew McConaughey, Al Pacino. Al Pacino's one essay made in the New Yorker, and I read out in a bit small excerpt, and then Reese Witherspoon. All right. And this was, I actually thought I should compare notes from these actors, from three actors, three actresses, but it could be a thesis topic as to if as from students in cinema, specializing in cinema, if the Hollywood cinema industry is actually sexist. What have they said about their heroes and heroines, and vice versa about their heroes? And That might have been a strong, but I was running out of time, and so I chose really interesting writing from all of them. Matthew McConaughey has read his own script, and so here his own book. He as has Reese Witherspoon, and he has a children's book out there. So this is Green Lights, and I will let him read this. And I have picked up. So I will. All right. I don't want you to miss the. I had thought I would have gone to the whole portion. He has his whole green lights. He has synonyms come. In that memorable voice of his. You see him in cinema, and I chose this bit because I'm waiting and to have my collections published, and for starters on the internet, and a token payment here just for luck. But then a book publisher, maybe some more, maybe a few hundreds, and maybe in a chemical engineering, maybe more, maybe 600 to $800. And then I have several research ideas, and those should get me more. So yeah, yeses and nos, and no could actually be an S. Yeah, I am waiting for that. All right, because I said Justin Trudeau, will he, want he, so right for Canada? But is he right for me? Was he right for me? You be the judge of that. But then a no could be a yes, and let's hope that. All right, now moving on to Al Pacino, I will read this the very good book, Matthew McConaughey, and he's read it, and I chose. Okay, this was good. All right, I chose this. I had other people in my life. This is by Al Pacino, the famous actor. This is his biography. I had other people in my life. The name of the book, Sunny Boy. I had other people in my life who were looking out for me and guiding me, even if I didn't realize it at that time. My junior high teacher, an attractive middle aged woman named Blanche Rothstein, selected me to start reading passages from the Bible at our student assemblies. I didn't come from a particularly religious family. My mother sent me to catechism class, and I wore my little schism class, and I wore my little white suit for my first Holy Communion. But I was fearful that maybe I was so good that the Virgin Mary would come down and make me a saint. I said, no, I don't want to be a saint. I actually got scared by that, and that's the truth. So I never went back for my confirmation. That and because the nuns beat you for no reason. Some of it is, of course, so a bit of satire, but satire. And so I like this. He did not want to be a saint, clearly. But actually, in real life, all those roles he does, fighting for the mobsters and being a mobster, that sort of thing. I mean, if he had become a saint, then acting would have lost its charm. So that's what I would like to say. And then um, whiskey in a teacup. Uh-huh. We'll go back to here. Let's see. Okay. Again, I'm going to. So you can enjoy it on your own, as I will again. She has recipes and etc. PDF file. I'd asked for this in Book City, maybe a year ago, a year or two ago, and they didn't have. They said that it wasn't there. Recipes weren't included, but clearly there are recipes included. Maybe they had to look through it. They had to order it. That's why they didn't know. Anyways, I just wanted to say two things: the law of the land. Somebody, people who walked in had to. My mother believed in this, but I think it's biting her in the back these days because uh, that's what I gather from bits and pieces people tell me. And yeah, but people had to be fed that sort of thing. The law her grandmother had, Dorothea had, and yeah, they had to be fed and or given a sweet cup of coffee from mother. Yeah, and sweet tea, iced tea, coincides with me doing the hedge trimming. Right, the hedge we took it off. It was all around the corner plot. So once my son was growing up a little bit, but before when I was working, I would kind of do it in two sittings, though, not one sitting. Electric hedge trimmer. You know, so less of all these cookies, not zebra cookies and polar bear cookies and 2 stars. So it's a bit stronger in some ways, but there were always desserts. And so I had done some of the hedge. Then she came, I left it here and went, and she had made this best iced tea, and it was a hot summer's day. It was good, a good iced tea. And I said, again, you should make it the iced tea because after I drank the iced tea, I'd like to think I got a call from Eisen Corporation for an interview. All right, and I drove all the way there, rented a car, drove all the way there, came back the same day, and my husband had a takeout meal waiting. Actually, North Indian. Well, takeout meal waiting, and um, so there you go, iced tea. I like it. Law under the law of the land for my mother. Maybe not always right, because a bit. As far as I gather, her goodness is being misused, and as far as I gather, from bits and pieces again, But nobody has actually spoken to me. Yeah, but so don't make anything a steadfast rule. That's what I say. I mean, as it be that as it may, it's nice to kind of offer something, but unless you're just walking across. If somebody comes from a bit of a distance, then it's nice. Anyways, that's what I said. I'm coming back with a song and dance video. Signing off for now. Thank you. Gayatri Bisita.